Alright, before I get into the video, I want to say a few things. Thank you viewer for taking the time to look at my video, it means a lot. Also make sure to subscribe if you are new here. Entitled daughters causes chaos on a plane and entitled mom does nothing about it. Please note, I wasn't on this flight, only my dad was. I'm writing this from what he told me, my brother and my mom, so the details won't be exact. Also the girl was about 6 years old, so we can't blame her, this so just how she was brought up. Now onto the story. So this was a 7-hour flight from Abu Dhabi to London on a 2-story plane, forgotten which plane exactly. My dad was sat a few rows back from the entitled family, but that meant he could still get a good view of what was happening. At first things were normal, the plane had a smooth takeoff and was now climbing to cruising altitude, so the flight attendants were about to start preparing the food and drink trolleys. This is when the girl started to misbehave. Even though the plane was still climbing and the seat belt sign was still on, she decided to jump out of her seat and run up and down the aisle, which made everyone look except her own mother. One of the flight attendants managed to catch her and bring her back to her seat and asked the mum to control her, but the mum just waved her hand in a sort of go away kind of action, so the flight attendant sat back down. About 30 minutes later the flight attendants had started bring the trolleys around, which obviously meant that the girl could mess about again. This time she tried to climb on the trolley when the flight attendant's back was turned because she was serving a random person on the other side of the aisle, but luckily the flight attendant stopped her again before anything too serious could happen. She once again talked to the mother, but she didn't pay any attention. Once the flight attendant had moved down the place, the girl was up again and decided to go upstairs. Remember I said this was a 2-story plane, to where first and business class are, but the flight attendant up there stopped her at the top of the stairs and brought her downstairs to look for the mother. The flight attendants and quite a lot of people were now really mad at the mother for doing nothing, but by this point she was on a phone call and ignored them. The girl went up the stairs about 5 more times over the course of the flight before they got someone to guard the stairs. Someone had also moved into the entitled family's row now FKT some reason, so the girl couldn't go out, or so people thought. The girl now realized she couldn't get out the way she was going before, so she decides to go straight over her seat, literally parkour over there. Unfortunately for her, there was a nice couple behind her who pushed her back into her seat, so for a minute there was a pushing battle between an elderly couple and a 6-year-old girl before the mother shouted at the couple to stop touching her daughter. The girl then climbs down and disappears from view and then pops up in the most unexpected place, between my dad's legs. She had crawled under about 5 rows of seats, somehow avoiding people. My dad had no idea what to do. He couldn't touch a random girl, especially after the mother shouted at the last people who stopped her, but before he could think of anything the girl was off, until she tripped and was caught by a flight attendant. She then took her back and the last hour of the flight was somehow peaceful. Thanks for reading guys, this is my first post on here. EK terrifies my dog, EPS stands and laughs. Context about my dog: so he's getting older now, and he's really quite shy of new people, but he'll never do anything to hurt anyone. So me and him were just chilling at a park near where we live, and this kid runs over to us and starts tugging at his tail and ears, and kissing and cuddling him. He was clearly terrified, and bearing in mind we're in a pandemic right now, I was not at all comfortable with this. I tell the kid to stop and go back to her parents, but I looked over to them and they were stood there laughing and saying how cute she looks. She was literally terrifying my poor dog. How is that in the slightest bit cute? I tell them to take their kid away, but they were clearly in no hurry, as my poor boy had his tail tucked in between his legs and was shaking. So yeah, this just happened and it annoyed me so much that I came to Reddit to rant about it. Edit: for anyone wondering, my dog is a Labrador. If you go on my profile and filter by top posts, you can see him in the background of that pizza picture. And yeah, he's fine now, back to his normal happy self, smiley face. Karen calls the cops because we're sitting at a bench. A bit backstory / cast info: friend 1 equals a friend 2 equals L, friend 3 doesn't talk equals Y, me / op Karen equals M by law dude equals BD cool dad equals RBK. Warning: lots of swearing bleeped out. Backstory: I was meeting my friends down at the school. I guess they went on the playground and sat there while they waited for us, and the Karen pulled into her apartment lot with her 2 kids and started yelling, "If my kids can't play on the playground then neither can you." So A and L moved to the bench just a bit away. Story: me and Y pulled up to the bench on our bikes and sat down. A and L started explaining a Karen was yelling at them and stuff. She walked outside and seen us still sitting at the bench, so she was across the street. "You're a bunch of dumb. I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. I'll be respectful if you're respectful to me." So I shouted. Me and my friends all started laughing and making jokes after this. "You're a bunch of ignorant." So we let it slide, flicked her off, and she went to her car and started to grab flowers, it looked like. We started making jokes. Obviously BC, we're 16 and don't care. Once she picks up the flowers, she shouts something about calling the cops and flicks us off. So as shouts, "Have a good evening." We sat there and started making jokes when 2 6-year-ish boys come over and start playing on the playground while we sit at the bench. The lady came over and walked over to the slide. One of the boys was going down and stuck her phone in the slide and snapped a pic of the boy and started shouting, "If my kids can't be playing here, neither can you." Dude, he's like 6, leave him alone. I don't give a. Every day you show up and I have to call the cops. They said start taking pictures of you. Okay, but he's a little kid, leave him alone. I don't give a. I stood up from the bench and pulled out my phone and said, "Let me call my lawyer and get this charged with harassment of minors." My friends started laughing and L and A started going off on the Karen, saying stuff like, "The kid's like 6, leave him alone, they're trying to have a fun time." I'm calling the cops. So she goes back inside and we start saying sorry to the boys that they have to deal with her. They said it's fine, it's okay. The one boy got picked up but the other stayed. So the city by law officer pulled up and told the other 6-year-old he can't play there and stuff. The 6-year-old goes to walk away and the BD starts asking us and another group of kids who the kid was with. Hey, quick question, is it okay if we sit here on the bench? Starts walking out. BD: yeah, you can sit on the bench, just don't play on the playground. Yes, we know. This girl keeps yelling at us. BC, we're sitting here and stuff. BD starts to pull away when stops him and starts complaint about how we're holes amongst other things. The BD is just trying to go back to his shift and chill. A keeps making stupid faces and laughing at her, and when BD looks he stops. RBK comes walking past us and says, "Yeah, I heard her cuss you guys out, watch this." He walks over to M and BD and starts calling her A and that she can shut up and go home. All she's doing is yelling at kids. BC, her life is. Him and the Karen go back and forth a bit. So RBK, shut up, no one gives a what you gotta say. My girl has to watch everyone play here every day when she can't, cause those whole kids decided to be ignorant and they need to give me respect. RBK, you're shouting at a bunch of kids, shut up and go home. Actions speak louder than words. Then why don't you do something instead of just shout at us in front of your 2 young kids? Me, it's called being a mom. RBK, exactly, you sit here and cuss out a bunch of teenagers and expect them to listen to you. Are you stupid? They should show me some respect. RBK, go home, Karen. If you're not gonna give respect, why the should they? I don't. RBK, go the home, Karen. So me and the bois start clapping as RBK walks away. Like full on applauding this dude for standing up for us. Storms away. We apologize to BD who had to deal with her and we chill for a bit. We make jokes about the Karen before heading out. I'll try to clarify in the comments a bit if it's unclear. Gets angry at me for stealing her spot on a lake beach despite she already has 20 meters wide space. Firstly, I would like to apologize for grammar mistakes because English isn't my native language. Last week I decided to go for a swim in the lake, because it was very hot outside and I needed to cool down. I come to the lake and buy a ticket to enter the swimming area. I go there oftenly because I live near the lake. I come in and go look if my favorite spot is empty. The spot has a bench under a tree and there is constant shadow. I go there and see that there are no towels on, so I assume it is free. Next to the spot was a family, the entitled mother, CD clueless dad and their children that were kind of entitled. I sat down on the bench and laid down my towel. Give the family a friendly wave and ask the father if the spot is free. He nodded and I proceed to go for a swim when his Karen wife starts to rush to me with an angry look on her face. This is the conversation. Entitled mother, me hey you. Excuse me. We were here first, you can't be here. The spot was free of towels and I also asked who I assume is your husband. He said it was okay. No, he didn't say that. Now get off, my children need to rest somewhere after because they are tired. I point to the other 6 towels. Aren't those your towels? Yes. They are. Why? Why don't your kids rest there? The more space than that, they can't be in such a tight space. Oh. How many children do you have? Like 15? Number 3. Oh, how old are they? They're 3, 7, and 10. Then why the heck do you need that space? You're literally covering more than half of this space and you are a family of 5. Takes my towel, throws it away so it almost land in the water, and puts her towel on. See, it was taken and you threw it away and replaced it. Proceeds to shout this so the whole bar can hear her like she is the victim. Then she sees a lifeguard and tells him her false story. The lifeguard laughs and says he saw me putting the towel on empty space and her rushes to me, shouting at me and replacing her towel with mine. I apologize to people at the bar who seemed to enjoy the scene caused by Karen, and some said it was funny how crazy some people can be. I laughed and went swimming. Comes to later saying that I did the wrong thing and said it would be right to buy her kids an ice cream for ruining their day at the lake. I'm sorry MRS, but I think that is not necessary. I saw them at times and they looked like they were having fun. I think they are going to be fine. That is unacceptable. You teenagers these days so ruthless. I shrugged it off because I know how Karens are and I didn't want to argue with her, so just went past her and went on with my day. I hope you enjoyed this story, although it wasn't a shocking one. From now on, don't we anyone to have a Karen encounter because they are the worst. Hope you have a good day. That's my son's fishing spot. I have had many entitled parent encounters, but none that pissed me off quite so much. My husband and I just got back from a short vacation without our kids, needed the break so bad. We had a blast. With that being said, we had one little thing that has crawled into my brain like a brain-eating amoeba. This damn lady. We were walking along the trails by the lake to find a fishing spot. We passed a few people fishing. I was all smiles and happy for them. We passed a family, mom, dad, and son. The son had a fish on his line and I said good job. We walked on and found a great little spot. We're setting our things down and we hear the obligatory, excuse me, excuse me. We turn and she's saying, this is my son's spot, he was fishing here. You can't fish there. It's a good 50 feet from them. This kid was maybe 8. Why was he fishing so far away from them? I'm not a helicopter parent, by any means, but I wouldn't have my young kid that far away near water. And I also wouldn't fucking yell at someone that didn't know he was fishing there. Karens are taking over the damn world. Joke's on them. They left shortly after, and we found an amazing fishing spot and caught some fish and went back to the hotel and had some great grown-up time. I guess that's why I'm not angry and Karen-y all the time, lol. TLDR, wild Karen yells at us for stealing her son's fishing spot. We find a better one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't done yet. Thanks for watching.